Hello friends and welcome to another tutorial on Geeks for Geeks. In this video, we are going to understand the program which finds the longest consecutive sequence in a binary tree. First, let us take an example. In this example, for tree 1, the longest consecutive path is 9, 10, 11 and its length is 3. In the tree on the right, the longest consecutive sequence is 1, 2, 3 which has the length 3. Now, let us see the algorithm. Let us also have a sample tree to test our algorithm. We call the longest consecutive function with root node passed as parameter. So, root will point to 1. As root is not null, we initialize res to 0. Next, we call the longest consecutive util function with current length 0. So, root will point to 1, cur length will point to 0. Variable expected will point to 1 and res will point to 0. As root is not null, we check if root's data is equal to expected. As it is true, increment cur length. Now res will be equal to the max of res and cur length. So res will be equal to 1. Next, we recursively call the left and right subtree with expected value 1 more than root's data. So now root will point to 2 and expected will be equal to 2. Again, as root is not null, we check if root's data is equal to expected. As it is true, we increment cur length. Now we update res to max of res and cur length. So res will be equal to 2. Again, we pass the left child of 2 which is 3 along with root's data plus 1. Again, as root's data is equal to expected, we increment cur length. Now we update res. So res will be equal to 3 as cur length is greater than res. Next, we pass the left child of 3 which is null. As root is pointing to null, we return to the previous call. We resume execution for node 3 and now pass the right child of 3 which is also null. As root is pointing to null, we return to the previous call and finish execution for node 3. We pass the right child of 2 which is null. As root is pointing to null, we finish execution for node 2 and return to the call stack. Now we will pass the right child of 1 which is 4. As root is not null and root's data is not equal to expected, we go to the else part and set cur length to 1. Next, res will be res as 3 is greater than cur length. Next, we pass the left child of 4 which is 5. Again, as root is not null, we check if root's data is equal to expected. As it is false, we set cur length to 1. Now as max of res and cur length is 3, res is equal to 3. We pass the left child of 5 which is null. As root is pointing to null, we return to the previous call. Now we pass the right child of 5 which is also null. Again, as root is pointing to null, we return to the previous call and finish execution for node 5. Now we pass the right child of 4 which is 6. As root's data is not equal to expected, we set cur length to 1. Now res will be 3 as it is greater than cur length. We pass the left child of 6 which is null. As root is null, we return to the call stack. Next, we pass the right child of 6 which is also null. Again, as root is null, we finish execution for node 6. Execution for node 1 and node 4 is also finished. We have the final value of res which is 3 and that is the length of the longest consecutive sequence in this binary tree. With this, we come to an end of this tutorial. For any doubts or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.